channel.
Hey, you know what time it is?
What time is it, man?
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Beatdown, the segment and channel where two worlds collide. I am your host, Class. This is my co-host,
Mr. J. What's going on, guys? We have another one for you, and we would like to remind you, if you like these videos, this content, go in the section below, like, comment, subscribe, share.
Yeah. And without further ado, today, in honor of Wakanda Forever, Black Panther 2, that recently just came out on Disney Plus, we decided we're going to talk about some of the characters from the movie itself. So I'm going to start things off by representing DC Comics, King Shark. All right, so now we're going to get into the brief origin story of King Shark. I believe his name is Nawe, aka King Shark, but let's just call him King Shark because it's just much more easier. So it starts off with Superboy, actually. Superboy, a normal day with his pals, his friends. They're all chilling at the beach. Hey, we're doing 90s style stuff, groovy, you know, whatever. I mean, groovy is actually way older than that, but anyways. So they're chilling at the beach, minding their own business, and out of nowhere, Superboy decides to go swimming, and he notices that things start getting real in the ocean, and it looks like something's attacking the islanders, or the people who are just swimming around the ocean in this particular spot. And he goes after to save this kid because somebody snatches him. So he grabs the kid from the ocean or underwater, but he notices that it's not like a mouth or a jaw that has the kid trying to grab him. It's a hand that's reaching out to the kid. So it's like, what the hell's going on? So it's, Superboy starts realizing something's odd about this. So he starts asking people around in the island, hey, what's this all about, in Hawaii, by the way? And they start explaining, well, there's a shark out there who apparently there's a story about a deity, a god who mated with a human, and it was a shark god, which is weird. But they got together, they hooked up, and the human had a child, and that happened to be King Shark, and it lives in this particular spot in the island of Hawaii, and it doesn't like to be disturbed, doesn't like humans being around it, because it likes its privacy. So it tells people to just step off, don't go anywhere near me, otherwise I will bite you. And Superboy has learned from that experience time after time. But yeah, that is the super brief origin story of King Shark. Now, let's get into the powers, abilities, and feats. All right. Underwater breathing, obvious. Withstanding immense pressure. They go deep into the water, both of them. Super strong fangs and claws. Superhuman strength, berserker strength. Regenerative body tissue. So he can regenerate bodily tissue. Resistant to cold temperatures. Superhuman durability, healing factor, enhanced senses, sonar, intelligence, and experience itself. He has gone toe-to-toe with characters like Superboy and Aquaman. Held his own against his father, who is a god shark, in a sense. Took on Killer Croc. That's no small potato right there. Survived a mini black hole, a version of a mini black hole. Endured a black canary cry. Took a blast from Starfire. In one universe, he was considered an ocean gang lord and even captured Mira, who is very hard to capture. So those are just some of his powers, abilities, and feats. All right, so let's talk about the end game. Let me just talk about two things. One, King Shark's bloodlust. When spoken in the comics, there's a version where he says it's like he's hearing million little voices in the blood. So it does make him kind of bloodthirsty when he gets into a fight, which is hard to beat. Because the other factor I wanted to add on to that was he's a demi-somewhat god, which means he's not going to be that easy to put down. He's called King Shark for a reason. It's not because he's a king shark or that's the name of his species. It's because he is actually considered a king. So on top of that, so you can't say that it's going to be hard to put out half a demigod. On top of that, the bloodlust that he has on the ability. But here's where I think it gets interesting. So both Namor and King Shark are kind of reliant on ocean water to make themselves super strong. But King Shark, most of the time, isn't always in the water. Sometimes he's actually just walking on dry land. The only reason why he needs water is to make himself super stronger. But most of the time, he's usually just minding his business, not really needing water all the time. So let's say in a land fight, this might come into King Shark's favor more than it would come into Namor's favor. Because with King Shark, he'd probably be able to outlast Namor in a dry land fight. Because let's say they both throw down. Now, Namor might have some slight advantages. Obviously, he can fly. You know, he also has healing abilities too. But getting into a long period of fight on dry land with someone like King Shark for a long time when it comes to just strength on strength, back and forth, it's going to wear the big guy down eventually to a point where he's going to need some water. And that's where King Shark is going to have to play like a man who's trying to, you know, sink his teeth into some meat. He's got to go and grab onto that Namor guy's feet and make sure he stays with him, because he needs to keep him from getting anywhere near water. Now, maybe at the same time, King Shark gets smart enough, finds a way to get himself hydrated during the battle and keep Namor away from water. Now, let's say that is a possibility, because in a distraction or diversion, he could totally throw something massive, large, maybe a truck at him. While Namor's distracted trying to block it or maneuver around it, there's the opportunity for King Shark to just have a little drink of water. Every now and then, just splash water here and there while he's into battle, because while Namor's not aware of what's going down, he's just kind of caught up in like, hey, I can beat this guy. I'm not going to worry about anything. I'm going to take him until I need to take him, because I'm the ocean king. All right, nobody's going to mess with me. So Namor's mentality, he's kind of a cocky guy. He thinks he's like superior to everybody. So I do believe that Namor would think that he could beat King Shark without needing to go into ocean at any particular point until it's like last possible minute. Now, last possible minute, not a good sign, because that gives King Shark an opportunity to keep the big guy down. Now, if Namor stays on dry land for a long period of time, and King Shark is just constantly keeping himself hydrated and throwing things at Namor and fighting him with everything he's got, and eventually Namor starts bleeding, that's where things are going to get a little more difficult for Namor. Because if there's blood coming out of Namor, that's when King Shark is going to do what King Shark does. It's like a shark that smells blood. He's going to go after and sink his teeth into it. Now, his teeth are another factor, because obviously his teeth and claws are capable of penetrating Superboy's skin. And Superboy is obviously a Kryptonian in a sense, so his penetrating his skin is not that easy to do. So if he's able to do that, then there is a possibility he's going to be able to penetrate at some point a weakened Namor. And if Namor is bleeding and he's getting his teeth sunken into by his neck or something like that, at some point, all it's going to take is King Shark to eat him, because King Shark likes eating humans. Also would like to eat a mutant. Maybe like try that once in a while. What's it like to eat a king ocean guy? Let's try that out for once. So if King Shark decided to, he could probably eat Namor to death and KO and the story, and that would be the end of this battle.
All right. My contestant today will be other than Namor, or the King of Atlantis.
Hear me, humans. I am Namor, Prince of Atlantis.
In his universe, anyway. All right. So, going into his origin, I'll try to make this brief. An Atlantean princess pretty much got married to a sea captain who was human. They had a baby. That baby's name was Namor. The only problem was, at the wedding, the Atlanteans showed up, took the princess back, and left. They crashed the wedding. Problem is, she was already pregnant with Namor. So he was raised full-fledged Atlantean. He was raised as the king. And that's kind of why he has that little superiority complex. But anyway, that is the brief origin of Namor. Namor is a alpha level mutant. Sorry, I get those two mixed up. Anyway, he is the king of Atlantis. Going into his powers, abilities, and feats, obviously, you know he can breathe underwater. I don't feel like I have to really explain that to you. But he can. He can totally breathe underwater. Anyway, moving on. Underwater adaptation. He has aquatic telepathy, which means pretty much he can communicate with people he's trying to communicate with underwater, telepathically. He can also communicate with other sea life and other sea creatures down inside underwater. He has superhuman strength and speed. He has aquatic healing, radiation absorption, and flight. His arsenal consists of Neptune's trident, which makes him, a little bit more stronger. It also carries water manipulation as well as mystic beams. These energy blasts can either damage an opponent with a crushing blow, or they can heal someone. Through mystic formation, he can transform objects and people. He has a horn of Prometheus. I can't say it. Prometheus or Prometheus.
Yeah, Prometheus, yeah.
This basically summons giant sea creatures to him. One of them is basically a giant whale with arms and legs, and it's huge. It's like the size of a skyscraper. And there's a lot more that Namor can call to him to help him fight. Going into his feats, though, those are a little bit crazy because he's held up the island Utopia. He stopped this island from, I guess it was sinking, and he stopped it from sinking. So he held it up. I don't think he did it by himself, but I do think he was one of the main reasons that it was still standing. He's been able to make Thanos bleed with a single punch. He's resisted Purple Man's mind manipulation.
Ooh.
He's tossed a 9,000-ton naval destroyer. I don't know if you've ever seen a naval destroyer, but those ships are huge.
Ooh.
He's been able to outswim a heat-seeking missile, as well as I don't think I need to mention this one, but he was able to break the crimson bands of Sidorak. He's defeated Orca, Tiger Shark, as well as Atuma. So, just going into the end game, I feel like Namor has this, but he can do this in a couple different ways. He can use his underwater cry to kind of manipulate King Shark. Honestly, as far as intelligence goes, I think we both know that Namor is a lot more intelligent than King Shark. And with that ability to control sea life and get them to react to him, I feel like that will, if it doesn't completely place him under control, I feel it will do enough to immobilize him and at least keep King Shark a little confused or disoriented. So in that sense, Namor could either blast him or stab him with the trident. Either one, I don't feel like he's going to survive or walk away from. I do feel like possibly Namor could be stronger. But if he's not, he has plenty of things to either help him or keep him in advantage. Obviously, use his flight, keep himself in the air away from King Shark. I don't think King Shark can fly. I don't think he can jump high enough to catch Namor, and I don't think he's fast enough to catch him. If he is able to catch him and bite onto him, yeah, I do believe he'll be able to do damage. But if Namor is able to keep his distance, use the trident to keep him away, and King Shark is just going to get worn down slowly and slowly over time. And then if he uses the horn to call these giant sea creatures out, who are huge and could possibly kill King Shark themselves, if they don't do it, Namor definitely will. Because while these giant things are fighting King Shark and he is distracted, because he will be distracted, let's make no doubt about this. That's when Namor comes from behind or from the side or from his blind spot and just stabs him and just puts him out. So either way, there's about 3 different ways this can go Namor's way, and all 3 of them, Namor takes it. Whether he uses the horn to call things to help him, uses his trident, or just uses his superior intellect and flight, Namor has this in the bag, no doubt.
Yeah. Okay. You got a point. All right, guys. And as always, it's not up to me. It's not up to my boy here. It's up to you guys. So, and if you like my argument, you know what you can do? You can hashtag King Shark. And if you like my boy's argument, what can you do, brother?
Hashtag Namor.
All right. And as always, No Press Fam, we really appreciate you guys. Catch you guys later. Peace.